Okay, folks, listen, I appreciate you guys clicking on this video right here because you seen that thumbnail. You know what we're doing, right? We're doing a Southern smothered chicken and rice recipe. Real easy. Now, don't forget, listen, I'm releasing this video. It's the summertime. I'm out here in Vegas and it is super hot, right? So when I tell you it's 112, we don't want to, heat up and do the oven, right? This recipe here can be done in the oven, but we're going to do it on the stove top. Let's get it. All right, folks. Now listen, if you look at the ingredients, right, I got them laid out, not a whole lot, right? This is what you want. Now, I can do this two ways. I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and you can see they left a little fat on there, which is okay by me. That just levels up the flavor, because listen, we got to make that gravy, right? But you can use regular chicken thighs. Now, don't forget the full ingredient list will be on my website. That's smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm setting up right now, right? What I want to do is I want to go ahead and season my chicken. I've already cleaned this. And look, I got this from the butcher. Look, they take some of the chicken that they sell and they cut it down, debone it. And they do everything themselves, right? So we'll just get them like this, right? Then I got a couple of more pieces. I usually do about 3 pounds, but this right here, this is just fine, right? So now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna just open up, my salt. Keep this hand as my working hand, right? So now we want to use and touch our container, especially when you're dealing with chicken. You know what I mean? We're just gonna go ahead and just give it, some salt, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add something to this also, and that's gonna be my seasoning, right? Now I have a low sodium product, this will be my A. This is what you want to put on here. The salt just kind of like enhances it, right? Gives it that flavor. So let me grab some of that. Great on poultry, fish, vegetables, anything like that. You know what I mean? So now we just go ahead and just season. You're gonna get a little bit of that color here. And I'm not putting no pepper on there because pepper gives it that little dark, I was gonna call it an undertone, but that's not true. It gives it a dark look to it, and it kind of like makes it look like it's burnt, but that's actually like the flavor that's on there. For those of you guys that do know that, pepper takes on a whole different taste when it's, been cooked, because a lot of us are just used to just putting it on top of like our eggs, and they're not really cooked, but when you put it on like food, especially if you do it with brisket and you cook it a long time, that right there just gives it a whole new flavor. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add just a little bit of cooking oil down here. This happens to be extra virgin olive oil. It's infused, with garlic, right? So we just let this move around, let that heat up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these inside of there and we're gonna go ahead and brown. Now listen, we're not trying to cook it because we're gonna cook it in the gravy, on the stove top, right? So that's gonna be the cooking process to get it all the way, to cook it all the way, true and through, right? Right now, we just wanna get a little color on there. So right now I'm at a medium-high heat, right? Just wanna verify, medium-high heat. Bringing this oil up to temp, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put this in there. It doesn't make no difference if you put them in bottom side or top side. Right now, we're just doing the browning process. All right, so now I'm gonna take them here, drop them in just like this. Okay, so look, I want to give you guys a heads up. Anytime you put something in the pot like this, like a protein, like chicken, steak, like sometimes it'll stick down on the bottom when it's cooking, but when it releases, that tells you it's okay, right? So if I take this right now and just move this around like this, that tells me, look, we ready. Look how no stick. And I got it, you guys saw me put that oil in there, but look at that brown right here. And look, I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up right now. Let me do it on this side so you guys can see it. You see that right there? That's gonna be in our gravy, folks. All right, so again, this was just the last couple so you guys can see. There's the back side. Look at that right there. That's what you want to have. You just want to get some nice color. Again, you don't want to cook it all the way through. And I'll show you right here. Look, if I pull this back like that, see how that's not cooked? That's okay. We're going to get it there. We just wanted to get a little bit of color on here. All right, look at that. That's the side we just took off. Okay, so if you look down there on the bottom, look, that's the seasoning, that's our fine, that's what we want to see at the bottom. This is gonna make sure that our gravy's good, right? So before I add anything else in that, we got a little bit of oil in there too. I'm gonna go ahead and just put my onions in now, right? Now we making the gravy, folks. But I want these onions and the acidity, the acid that's inside of here, I want this to like just to pick up some of that fine at the bottom. To be honest with you, I wanted to pick it all up. So I'm just gonna drop this in here just like you see. Now you guys cut your onions just how you want them. You can cut some of these, look, you can break them. Most of you guys are used to seeing them like this size, like this. I like them how I like them. And to be honest with you, I don't care how you give me an onion, as long as it's sauteed and done like this, that's how I like it. Now you guys cut it, whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and let this get a little bit of heat, start releasing its juices in here and start to pick that up on the bottom. Now while this is going, we're gonna get a little liquid in there, right? So we're gonna go ahead and drop this flour in. We're gonna drop this butter in. Now talk to me, folks. Tell me when your onions start looking like that, ooh, my goodness. And now you can see the color of the butter in here. Look, this is starting to come up. So I'm just moving this around. I don't want to cook it all the way down, you know what I mean? Because we're going to have it under that fire on this stove for about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, right? But look at this right here. This is when you know you got that goodness. So if you look right here, you can see a lot of this is just coming up, soft rubber spatula, you know what I mean? Just moving this around, letting that, you know, the acid from the onion do its work. Now we're getting ready to come with our flour, right? So I'm gonna just add some flour to it. And I know everybody tells me I don't have to add it in a little bit at a time. That's just how I do. You know, you guys can just try it. In my brain, everything in moderation. You know what I mean? That way, because if you put too much in, it get too thick on you, you're not able to stir it like you want to. You know what I mean? Then what? You can't take nothing out. But if you control it, put it in a little bit at a time, work it in, you have no issues. And so another thing, you know what I mean? You want to season, right? This is how we're going to ensure that we got great tasting, you know, gravy. Now, you see that I keep stirring this right here? I'm looking at it. I don't want to have no lumps, and I want to cook, make sure I don't have none of that flour taste in there, all of that. So I let this go for about 2 minutes. But look at the color of my gravy, folks. This is what you want. Look at that. That's what you got at the bottom of the pan. You know what I mean? So that's a whole lot of flavor mixed with that onion. You know what I mean? So this right here, ooh, look at that. Now I'm gonna add a little chicken bouillon to it. You know what I mean? Because we want the flavor to be there. All right? So don't forget, you guys, on my website, I got the full ingredient list for you right there. I like to get this base in here and get it right. Now, see how my onions are now? They softening up. They starting to become over. When you hit them, they close. Now you see why I didn't do mine that way. You can do them any kind of way you want to. Just get the onions in there. It's the flavor. That's one of the like little secrets of this gravy right here. All right, so now look, I done moved over to my whisk. You know what I mean? Just want to look at it. I know that the flavor of the flour is gone. I know all of this right now tastes incredible, right? So now I'm getting ready to add 4 cups of this chicken broth. You know what I mean? If you guys got stock, that works too, right? Let me go ahead and turn my fire up. You know what I mean? I'm going on high right now, just for right now, right? But look at the gravy. You can see it come together right in front of your eyes, right? It kind of like thickens up. Just add a little bit more to it, but we're gonna get all 4 cups in here. Now, look at there, right there. You see how it just becomes gravy right in front of your eyes? That's right, but we got it on high. We putting a little heat on it. I'm just getting the rest in. Now, remember I stated earlier, look, a little bit in at a time is better. You ask me, it's just a little bit more control, right? Look at that. When you put that heat underneath the bottom, look how thick that is. And this goes out to all of the gravy police that was out there be saying, AB, you didn't really make enough gravy. You know, we're gonna make enough gravy today, man. You can see it's like a medium thickness now that we got the 4 cups of broth in here, right? So I got it on high right now because I want to see it to start to simmer. Now we don't want to thicken it all the way up right now. That's cool. See how it is right there? I'm gonna go ahead and reduce this down. I want to see it simmer. Reason being, because I'm gonna put my top on, but we're gonna put our chicken in here, and the heat and all of that is gonna infuse with this chicken and cook it all the way. Now you're gonna need one thing to make sure that your chicken is ready. Now that will be, you're gonna need to get yourself a thermometer, right? This is how I cook. And I know my grandmama's probably tripping out that I use this, but she understands why, because I'm teaching people, right? We want to make sure our chicken is at a minimum of 165. Now this is dark meat. Dark meat can go up to 170, even 175, and it'll still be nice and moist. But we cooking it in this gravy, and I promise you this is about to be fire. Now, we got a nice simmer going, right? I'm gonna give it one last stir, and that's it right there. But if you guys look at that, Now, I talk this all the time and I practice what I preach. Listen, we gotta go ahead and taste it. We wanna make sure that tastes like the gravy we wanna have at the very finish, right? So take it here. Let me taste this and then we making adjustments from here to your palate. Now that I tasted that right there, I can promise you I don't need nothing, right? Chicken bouillon got us right, you know what I mean? But if you wanna add anything to it, like I said, it's to your palate. Now I'm just gonna start adding my chicken back to it, right? As it's simmering. Whew, look at that there. So I want you guys to look. I'm just making sure it get a little gravy on it. Not wanna move it around, don't wanna knock off none of that fire, folks. Hey, listen, you can hear the smile on my face. So, only thing I'm gonna do is put my top on. We got it down to the simmer, that's perfect. I'm gonna check this in 25 minutes. Okay, so listen, it's been about 27 minutes, right? I turned it off at 25, you know, it's just been sitting in the inside. Now, I did check it, but again, I just wanna show you guys gotta get one of these just to check. Because when you get boneless, skinless, you know, they're gonna be all different thicknesses, so I just like to look at it. When I look at it right here, yes sir, this right here, and it's starting to cool too. So we at 170. Let me see, this one over here, this was a thicker piece. And this one right here is exactly at 160, it's at 166, and it's holding that. And that's the thicker piece of this one right here. So I had checked all of these are good. This is gonna be nice, juicy. You see I got my rice, so let's go ahead and get it on a plate. So now that the temperature is right? Now I'm just gonna go ahead and take that. You guys can see the thickness of that. If you want it to be thicker, you can just go ahead and cook it down. Take the top off and just cook it down just a little bit more, right? So I'm gonna just put that there. Now you know what? I like to eat, folks. You know what I mean? And I'm hungry. So let me just go ahead and get me another one. One of these smaller pieces. But look at that right there. Yes, sir. Put a little space in between this right here. But you see that right there? That's what you guys have been waiting for AB to go ahead and do. Now here it is, you know what I mean? This right here is over the top. Now look, I got a little ladle right here. This is for all the people that say, AB, you don't really be having enough gravy though, fam. So listen, I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this. Hit it like that. Now we just wanna get a little bit of that gravy, you know, on that rice and just cover it just like that. Now, you know I gotta go ahead and take some pictures. You know what I mean? Actually, that's really enough. But I know the gravy police, they out there. Y'all tell me. And I want to get some of them onions. Check it out, folks. Listen, I done ate half of this one already. You know, my excuse was I just want to like test it. You know, check it out, see how it is or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go ahead, get a little bit of this gravy, this rice. But you see that right there? Super tender. Hey, listen, I'm not finna over talk it. I'm finna go in for my third one. That right there. Here you go, folks. Look, come on in. You know, I wanted to talk about that gravy, but there it is right there. You too can make gravy just like this. I don't even want to wipe my mouth. You know what I want to do? I want to finish this video and sit down and eat. Right? Now, the only thing that's missing is I should have just put some of that sweet cornbread. You know that honey cornbread that I just made? That right there and this. Oh, and some greens and And to really be honest with you guys, anything smothered would take you back down home. That's why we call it Southern, you know, anything. That's why we call it Southern, whatever it is. You put that gravy on there and you smother it just like this. And just so you guys can see, here it is after it's been sitting up. Look at the consistency right there. That right there, I feel like we should just bottle that up and sell it. Now, I want you guys to tell me down in the comment section below, what would you do to level this up, right? If you cook it just right, them onions, they're gonna kind of like just go away, put that flavor in that gravy, right? Now, I know first thing you guys gonna say is they could have had bell peppers, you know what I mean? But talk to me and let me know what your secret is. You know, share it with the world. Listen, we gonna show everybody that we do not gatekeep. Now, if you're new to my channel, let me take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there, check this out. It's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And you know what I'm finna do, folks. It's eat time. I'm out. Peace.
it.